It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Guys, how's everybody doing today? It is Tuesday, February 14th, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. A lot going on. Pretty crappy Valentine's Day. One, everybody will, if you're around here, you will probably never forget with the events that happened, the mass shooting at East Lansing on the campus of Michigan State University. Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, Fletch, JB. Bray, how are you doing today? Let's start there.
I'm doing good, but my sister was on campus. My sister's a senior at Michigan State. She was okay. She wasn't in the proximity of the shootings. Just a terrible day. But I feel like, Maz, you should start off. Whether your daughters are up there, and you take it from there, Maz.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's just another shooting. Yep. Let's report on it. Let's give our thoughts and prayers to everybody, right? It's the same thing. It doesn't stop. I don't get it. It's one of the reasons I don't like watching the news or hearing anything. Unfortunately, this you can't resist. It was in our faces. About 8:30 last night, I'm on Twitter just looking around, and I see something from David Jesse of the Free Press, formerly of the Free Press. Possible shooting at Michigan State. And I'm like, what? Not within a minute, my daughter Lily calls me. And Lily's a sophomore at MSU. And she was working literally 100 feet from the Student Union building where the first shots rang out. She works at a place called Pliables. All the students know it. Literally, you walk out of the Union building and you could walk into her store. They were getting ready to close up about 9 o'clock, and it's when everyone started running out, screaming, banging on the glass. They went out to find out what the heck's going on, and one of the guys, he couldn't even breathe. He was like, I just saw 2 of my coworkers shot. They pulled the guy in, they locked the doors, they hid in the basement as everything was happening. And it was just very surreal. And everyone knows the story by now. 8 people were shot, and I think it was 3 different places, at least 2 different places, right? 2 different places. One was the
Berkey
the
Hall
rec
and
gym.
the Union.
Yeah, and the rec gym, right? Then they
there was a report of one at the rec gym.
Supposedly, it didn't happen. There were a lot of reports last night. My wife was just inconsolable, but we were on the phone with Lily, and she was handling it as well as you can. Obviously, no one knew anything at the time. And there's nothing really to say. Hats off to all the news people. Roop Raj did a phenomenal job last night. Absolutely phenomenal job on Fox 2. My hat's off to you and Taryn and the rest of the crew. When you listen, they make it so easy for you to go online on Twitter. Hey, let's get onto the police scanner. You could hear what the police are hearing with, and you hear so many things. Oh, they see the shooter. Oh, there's 2 shooters. Oh no, now there's 3 shooters. Oh, now they think there's some explosives in a van. They think there's some explosives. This guy is here. This guy is there. I told my wife.
We think the shooter's black. They just kept on coming with a bunch.
First he was black, and then he was this other guy that they tweeted out, and all the students are obviously talking to each other via social media.
Yeah.
So Lily sends me all these things. I sent them to Ryan. I didn't know Ryan obviously had a long day, and he called it quits early. I'm happy that you called it quits early. You didn't have to live through that, but you had to handle it today. But I'm sending him all these things that Lily's sending me in real time. And then they have this other killer, supposedly, this this white guy that says you're all going to die, and it's all false, obviously. Turns out the lone gunman's a 43-year-old man or 42-year-old man, formerly in New Jersey. Moved here 20 years ago with his parents. Kind of a loner. His mother died a couple of years ago, and yada, yada. He's a loner. None of his family has been talking to him. And it is what it is. Lone gunman. Lily's okay. I'm shocked that only 8 people were shot. Thankfully, only 8 people were shot. How much worse could it have been? And unfortunately, the 3 people that passed, 2 of them were in Lily's circle. And she lost a good friend. She lost her good friend Brian, who's top of the world kind of kid. Great kid. I'm sick for his family. I'm sick for him. He's such a good person. And innocently working at the Union Building, at the taco stand, with his hat and his apron on and always a smile. And he was murdered. And so it really hits close to home for my family. My daughter's okay. Emotionally, forget it. And none of these kids will be the same again.
Man, I know I speak for myself and everybody in the chat when I say I'm sorry for your loss to family. Sorry for your loss. You said he was an upstanding young man. You said he's been to the house a couple of times, even the graduation party last year. So sorry for your loss, man. This is just a tough spot, man. Hurt people.
Yeah, this is one of those days too, guys. Look, we do a sports show, right? I mean, yeah, wins, losses, my team, your team, this, that, the other thing. This is just one of those really, really hard shows to do because there's a lot of people hurting today. One guy we work with every day, Tom Mazawey, sitting right there. His daughter is going to join us in a minute to just describe what it was like last night. These mass shootings, in one ear, out the other, and you wait for the next one to happen. This one hit close to home. We got the Spartan football helmet on the desk. We here at Woodward Sports stand with the Spartans today, the entire community. But Michigan State, kids at Michigan, Oakland University, Central. If you go to school today, you are hurting. If you have a kid today, you are hurting. You see yourself in these kids, in these moments. We didn't have to deal with this stuff. Now, you send your kids off to school. You're worried if you're ever going to see them again. And I know there's a balance here, and we have to talk about sports, and we will talk about sports today. But I just feel like it's very important if you want to share your thoughts, anything you want to talk about regarding this, if you want us to be a sounding board for you, 313-552-6322, 313-552-6322. The names, just some nuts and bolts, are filtering out. And of course, I'm not sure as I sit here at 2:09 if authorities have given the green light to say what those names are. So I am not going to do that right now. But one of the kids we do know, and there's a social media post. His fraternity put out a post. The Grosse Pointe Public School System has put out a post. 2 of the kids were from the Grosse Pointes. One went to South, one went to North.
One was a basketball player.
Yeah.
One was president of fraternity.
I just wanted to touch on something that you were talking about, like the mass shootings. The crazy thing about it now that they're happening so often, like people are desensitized to mass shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, in one ear and out the other.
Yep.
Do you remember in 2000 when Columbine happened?
Yes,
the nation stopped. Like the nation stopped. The nation was flipped upside down. The nation stopped. Like nobody was going to high school. Nobody was going to classes. Like the world was kind of in this awkward phase for the better part of a month. When Sandy Hook happened, or when Temple happened, like when these things were happening, like the nation just stopped.
Yep.
And you had to try to make sense of things, and people were consoling each other, and people were better people. Now it's happening so often, and not people that are by themselves. We were talking about this guy, Maz was talking about him, read the bio of this individual. loner by himself, worked in the warehouse. Mother passed away. Father is gone. His brother stops talking to him. He's a loner, and now his only connection, his only way to have an impact, or people look at him, is to go out and do these things. It's happening more and more and more. We said at this very desk, December of 2021, talking about Oxford, and here we are, less than 2 years later, having another one that's not too far from home. Like, Maz, I know you say you want to live in a bubble, and I love you to death. This came into your bubble.
Yep.
Like, in this way, it came into your bubble. There's no such thing as a bubble in the world we live in anymore. We just got to address things, but together.
Let's bring in Lily Mazawey, who is a student at Michigan State University. Obviously, Maz's daughter. Lily, thanks for joining us on the phone. Not really sure what to ask other than A, how are you, and B, can you just kind of walk us through your night last night as you recall on the events that happened?
Yeah. Hi, guys.
Hey,
Hi, honey.
I've obviously I've been a lot better, but it's just really hard. It's happening at my school, and I lost a friend. It's not easy, I'm sorry. And I was at work last night. I work at Pliable, it's right on Grand River. It's directly across from the Union, which is where one of the shootings happened. And I was closing with two of my coworkers, and all of a sudden I just see a parade of cop cars, and they're kind of like, "What's going on?" And then you just see, like, I'm not even exaggerating, 100 cop cars flooding down our street, parking all up and down in front of our building, in front of the Union, everywhere. You see ambulances, like fire trucks everywhere, and like going up and down. We were kind of confused. And then again, you can see the Union directly from my work, and we were looking out the window, and you just see a flood of students sprinting down the stairs, and we were like, "What is going on?" You just hear screams, and there were a couple people in uniform, like as if they were like working at the Union, and one of the workers like stopped in front of our door, and he like looked like he was about to collapse, like he was hyperventilating, and like my one coworker went outside to see if he was like, "Hey man, like what's going on? Are you okay?" And he couldn't breathe, but he got the words out of, "I just witnessed two of my coworkers being shot," and one of them happened to be my friend, which we found out. But we just locked the doors, and we went down in the basement of my work, and we didn't really know what was happening. Like, there was a million different rumors. You could check Twitter, but there was, you were trying to listen to the police radar. There was 100 million things that were being said. We didn't know what was true and what wasn't. This was around 8:15 p.m. this all happened, and then we were down and locked down in the basement. We didn't get the all clear to basically of them saying, like, "You guys can go home now," until about 12:30 at night. And now we're just all, we've heard of the victims. We've heard of the first two, and the third one, the parents wanted them to be kept anonymous, which we can respect, but we're mourning our losses right now, and as like a part of the Spartan community, it's really tough, and we're all really going through a lot right now, and I just pray for the victims and their family. I really do.
It's all right, honey. Hang in there, babe.
Lily.
Yeah,
We're all with you. We love you. We love all of you. It's not something that should happen to people, to kids at school. I just brought up yesterday, Lily is always in touch with me. "Dad, what major should I do? Should I do this for my major? What kind of job am I going to be able to get?" And I just told her literally yesterday, "Lily, you're 20. Don't worry about jobs." I said to her, these are my words yesterday to her. I wrote them on a text to her. "Just enjoy school. All right? You're there to enjoy school. Don't worry about your job. Don't worry about your major. Just enjoy your life at school." And then this happens last night, which I just can't wrap my head around, right?
Yeah, I don't even know how to wrap my head around it either. Lily, we love you. Thanks so much for sharing your story. Just the chaos of the night, and
well, on her way out today, of campus, she described to me. Well, Lil, I'll let you describe what it looked like on the way out of campus today.
It was a nightmare, to say the least. I was driving down my street to go down the freeway, which is to approach Grand River, which is where a lot of it happened. And you just drive down the streets, and first of all, there were still police everywhere. There was tape all around. And then a few minutes before I had left, my friend had seen men in like white suits, and they were scrubbing the sidewalk. She said it was a horrific sight, and there was just, for literally a mile, there were just news cameras upon news cameras everywhere, like, and they were especially stacked like right in front of my store. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's really a sad scene right now. I was driving past like all the dorms and houses, like everyone was getting out of East Lansing. Everyone's going home. Like, it was really eerie driving around there today. It was really uncomfortable. Like, it's so sad because, like, that's my home, that's my school. It's a lot of students' homes. It's really devastating, honestly.
I love you, honey. Just stay with Mom and stay home. I'll be home as soon as we're done with the show, and we'll all be together.
Yeah, Lil, we love you so much. Thanks for sharing the story with us. I think it's important to hear. I think it's important to hear too.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you so much. I do think it is important to hear, what these kids are going through now. I mean, this is enjoy school.
You want to hear a kicker about this? She gets an email from one of her professors, and it's the toughest class that she's got. I'm not even going to mention the class. But this guy was like a hard ass to them when they first started a few weeks ago in September. When the new semester started. Yeah. And he's like, this is going to be the toughest class you ever had. He writes him a note, and he's like, I understand everything that's going on or whatever, but you guys still have to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Desensitivity.
Are you effing kidding me, Professor? Are you kidding me?
That's sick.
Desensitivity.
That's insane. I'd like to talk more about that with you, actually, off the air. That's just not right. And again, you hear the horror in Lily's voice, right? Of
trembling. What
these kids have to deal with today. I mean, COVID wasn't enough to where they couldn't go to school. Now, when they're in school, they gotta fight, hide, and run. I mean, there's mass shootings. I mean, these kids are dealing with a lot, man. They need a lot of us. They need a lot of us.
Oh my God! How do you grow up from this crap?
I don't claim to have answers for this, because I think this has been going on for a while, and I think we're looking for answers. I think there are a lot more answers than we have. But I do know one simple answer, Ryan. Like, be nicer to people. And I'm not saying that's the end all be all. That's not the cure. Be nicer to people. Like, speak to people. I feel like it's so many people like just spewing hate and spewing venom, and not being kind, and not being nice, and not knowing what people are going through, and being very dismissive, and hurt people get hurter and hurter and hurter, and then it causes their mind to go in places, and that you don't know what you're capable of. It's not an excuse, but at the same time, if you can be nice to somebody, that may save somebody. So I'm just saying, be nicer to people.
I say hi to every single person that walks by me, and a lot of times if they'll just have their head down, and I'll just answer myself. I'm like, oh, I'm fine as well. Hope you're doing great. There's a lot of people out there a lot of sad people. Yeah. If you could at least say hi to them or reach out to them or whatever, you never know. You absolutely never know. This shooter, Lily's like, I wish he lived, because he's the kind of guy you just want to go after. And I'm like, Lily, he probably lived his own hell for his whole life. And I'm not giving him a pass. I'm just saying,
there's nothing you can do that he's already been through worse.
He's been.
I'll one up you there. Just people in your life, tell them you love them.
Yeah.
Give them a hug. Just start with the
That's
people.
That's easy.
Start with the people in your own life.
That's easy.
Before you move on to strangers. You know what I mean? Start there and see if that doesn't do it for you. We are going to take a break. We are going to restart our show, for lack of a better way to say it. We'll talk about some sports, including the numbers. We'll take a break and come right back. This is the Woodward Sports Network.
a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health. That's very important on a day like today. You got to be guys to people. You got to be good to people. People that are struggling, you got to be there for them. You got to be able to give them answers. And how do you get answers? You go to thesportsma.com. Sean Jordan does an amazing job of providing content about mental health, of providing content about substance abuse disorder. You never know what anybody is going through, but this is how you help people. You provide this website to them, thesportsma.com, even if it's you, thesportsma.com.
Hey guys, let's talk some sports, shall we? Super Bowl 57 in the books. Was it the best ever? That is.
I was watching it again last night.
You did watch it. You were watching it.
I was watching it until I heard what I heard.
Now let me continue on with this. I have a question for you, Naz, about this. As you watched it back, did you feel different about it than you watched it the first time?
I definitely did.
Yeah.
I'm like,
better or worse?
You know what? I was just because there was so many. I had people in my house.
Yes,
not a lot.
Yes. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Not a lot of people, but enough to always distract me from the game.
Right.
That's why I like watching the game with just me and my kids running around the house. That's it. But to watch it, I got through the first quarter, and both teams went up and down the field, and I was like, man, this is really some game.
Yeah.
And it looked like Philadelphia could have run them out of the building at that point. And then I didn't get to that yet. I didn't get to that part yet. It was 7-7, and I just had a feeling that Philadelphia still had control of that game, especially because Kansas City hardly had the ball in the first half. Had they not taken
10 minutes,
had they not run that thing back, that fumble back, I don't know, maybe Philadelphia wins that game.
Mm-hmm.
They might keep scoring.
Well, I mean, obviously, I think maybe 21-3 at that point.
It could have been
21-3, or not 21-7 at that point. If that fumble defensive touchdown doesn't happen,
or at least 17-7.
Yeah. We have such a recency bias. Right, the latest thing we have seen is always the best. Right, the last thing we saw is always the best. I mean, when it comes to the best ever, I mean, like I said yesterday, I think this is a good top 10, but I don't think this was a top 5 Super Bowl. And I think the refs, again, robbed us of that. It's funny to see guys like Kirk Herbstreit and Emmanuel Acho going at it today. Mike Lupica on Twitter was like, oh, it's a penalty, you got to call it.
Mark Schlereth said it was a robbery.
It was. I mean,
played the game.
I think it was Emmanuel Acho that was like, if you think it was a penalty, you better not drive 50 in a 45. You know what I mean? That he equated that penalty call to getting a ticket going 50 in a 45.
I said it yesterday on the show. I said the same thing. 50 in a 45. It was like, cops aren't calling that. Like, cops aren't they're not giving you 50 in a 40 unless you're in Ferndale. But
if you're going to call it all game.
Agreed. And that was the one big thing I took away from the game. Matt, to answer your question, Ryan, no, it wasn't the top 5 game. It wasn't. If you really break the Super Bowl down, if you look at it, which I've looked at it again a little bit, you break it down, they scored 8 points in the second half. Or they scored, 11. Like, Philly scored 11 points in the second half. Their defense played horrible. Like, the Kansas City Chiefs scored on every freaking possession in the second half. and they score only 11 points. Thank God Jalen Hurts was there. You know, there were some good plays, and I think when you look at it, I think it was the greatest battle I've seen of two opposing individuals, if you will, for a very long time. It was the will of Patrick Mahomes, one leg, doing whatever it took. His efficiency, 21 of 26, 3 touchdowns. I mean, the run that he had. Then you got Jalen Hurts on the other side. You're talking about guys that finished 1 and 2 in the NFL MVP. So if we're talking about the greatest battle of two guys going head-to-head, mano-a-mano, I want my squad to win, you want your squad to win. Well, that was a hell of a matchup. And it's one of the best I've seen in a very long time in the top 2 players. But in terms of the game as a whole, no, I don't think it's a top 10. If I'm being honest, I think it had its moments, but it's not a top 10. If we're being honest, recency bias definitely pays a fact.
Hey, I've been watching since Super Bowl 5.
Right.
All right, so that's 52 Super Bowls.
Yeah,
it's definitely top 7, if you ask me. The way they were going back and forth for a while. After Philly tied it up, you're going to tell me that's not a great game? That's a phenomenal game.
A great game, and top 10 are very different. There's some great players.
Well,
not every player is a top 10 player.
Let's dive into this a little bit more. It was a great game. Terrible finish.
Right.
Now, we have seen crappy games, great finishes. Does the way the finish kind of went down jade how you feel about the game as a whole? Because I will tell you, the Rams-Titans game was a terrible game
until the last 2 possessions.
But a great finish. Yeah. So you kind of elevate that one up a little bit, right? You see what I'm saying there?
I agree with you, but once you have the finish, you have the complete deal. Like, this wasn't complete. This is one of those situations that everything was setting up for this amazing finish. They kicked the field goal. We know Jalen Hurts is going down the field in 4 minutes. Now he's going to go down. He's going to kick the field goal. Now what's going on overtime? See, our mind is telling us what this game should have been. Like, our mind won't allow us to look past the fact that it should have been no call, should have kicked the field goal. Now Jalen Hurts comes down with a chance to win the game or kick the field goal. Hell, if Jalen Hurts goes down there and wins the game, and the story of Jalen Hurts is born in that moment, well, now I think you're talking top 5 game all time, maybe top 3. Even if he comes down, kicks a field goal, it goes to overtime, and now they battle it out for about 2 possessions or 1 possession each in overtime, and then Mahomes wins or whatever. I think it was on the cusp of being top 10, top 5, but it didn't have that finish, so it wasn't a complete great game.
Shout out to Jason M. Best show on WSN. One Take Bray, Mad Maz, Beyond Thunderdome, and Ryan Clowney. Keep doing what you're doing, fellas. We love the show. Thanks so much, Jason. We absolutely appreciate it. Hey, if you want to jump in, 313-552-6322.
I like my nickname a little better than yours.
Anything you want to talk about, we are here for you today. Ratings are in as well. Does Maz have the last laugh? We'll get to that. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 50 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC has the same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. Also, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn on Michigan Avenue, boy, do they have the deals for you. Silverado trucks in stock and ready to go. In fact, I've got some prices on these Silverado trucks. If you give me just 1 second here. Sorry about this. We have a graphic, but it's not in the computer. I don't have the graphic. I'll try to get that. There it is. $289 a month for a 2022 Silverado Crew Cab LT, $289 a month. You cannot beat that. Ready to drive off right now. Silverados, $289 a month. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Find them.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots, he scores!
With 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, ah! Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, please give Alta Rental a try. They've got you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Guys, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Super Bowl ratings are in. Highest in 6 years.
Super Bowl Sunday?
For this game. Super Bowl Sunday. 113 million viewers is the most viewers this game has had in 6 years. It is also the most streamed Fox Sports event. It is the most watched, third most watched TV show ever. How about that? 113 million viewers.
Not bad, huh?
That's pretty good. You know, the Super Bowl has been down over the last few years. 101 million TV, 96.4 million TV, 101 million.
Yeah. I wonder what happened with that 96.
I don't know. It was Super Bowl 55. Super Bowl 55 between the Bucks and the Chiefs.
It was a lousy game. I bet you that's why people tuned out.
Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
But it was a lousy game.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Remember, it really was not a game.
But then don't you still tune in for the initial?
Yeah.
And then you find out it's a bad game. But so that means the numbers still should have, I guess, been there at some point. Yeah.
I know Rihanna's halftime show beat the 113 million. She did 115 million.
118 million. Yeah, 118 million for Rihanna.
Wild thoughts, baby. Wild thoughts. But I mean, at the end of the day, you look at the Super Bowl. I think some of it has to do with, you got to look at the market. Philly's one of the bigger markets in the NFL.
And Detroit came in fourth.
I saw that. They came in, I think Cincinnati was third. Detroit was fourth. Kansas City, huge team. These are top meter local markets for Super Bowl.
How about that?
Kansas City, number one, of course. Philadelphia, number. I actually thought Philly would be number one.
I am shocked by that.
Think 6 years ago you said the Super Bowl was Philly was in that.
Yeah.
There you go. Back there's Philly again.
Philly, but I am shocked that Philadelphia. Well, I guess that's maybe the way they do that. Top metered local markets. Philadelphia has more people, so more people have more options. But nonetheless, how about Detroit in there? Just after the two teams that played in there, and then Cincinnati.
Those are all great football towns.
Yeah.
Think about that. All five of those are great football towns. You got KC, Philly, Cincy, Detroit, and Pittsburgh.
Joey 2 times says, I was told the ratings for the Super Bowl were in decline. They were. Just read you the numbers. 101 million, 96 million, 101 million, 101 million. This was the exception.
It was. It's interesting to see the
Detroit. It's a good bounce back.
Interesting to see the Detroit fans on there. Like, Detroit fans believe they're going to the Super Bowl soon.
We're starving.
Like, Detroit fans are tuned in. They believe Detroit fans think they could have beat the Eagles. And they think they could have been in there and played against Mahomes. Like, it's funny listening to. Is there too much optimism for Detroit fans coming into this 2023 season?
Not enough.
No. It's part of being a sports fan.
Yep, not enough.
It's too much optimism. And let me tell you why I say it's too much. Everything I've said on the show, I said they're my team in the NFC. I'm supporting the Lions now. I'm on the train with you guys. I talk about what they are. I'm more logical than you guys, but I'm on the train. I like the draft capital. I like the players. I like the structure that's been put in place. I like Dan Campbell. I like the growth. I like a lot of the young players. I like it. But I'm listening to Spencer. Shout out to the heavyweights. I'm listening to Spencer yesterday talking about the 9th best odds per MGM Sportsbook for the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl. They have the 9th best odds. Spencer said that wasn't high enough. And this is why I ask, are Detroit fans being too optimistic without having done anything yet? 9th. And they didn't go to the playoffs last year. 14 teams go to the playoffs. They weren't one of them. But they're ranked 9th based off what we perceive them to be this upcoming year. That's damn good. But for Spencer, It was not enough. And I don't know if it's because he shaved his facial hair, but whatever is making him say it's not enough, I think all Lions fans feel like that. They didn't make the playoffs last year. Yes, they finished.
Yeah, we did.
Yes, they finished.
We won our playoff
Yes,
game.
they finished 8-0. That's called a consolation prize. They finished 8-2 out of 10 games. They had an amazing run. They played damn good down that stretch. But at the end of the day, you still got to get into the dance before you're perceived as a playoff team. So I just would urge Lions fans push back just a little bit. I think they're on the right track for sure.
Yeah,
but don't put them in the big dance before they get to the playoffs.
See, I wouldn't put them in the Super Bowl, but I would put them with anybody else to have a shot at.
They could win the NFC.
They could absolutely win the NFC. I wouldn't.
AFC is another story.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit here and tell you that the Lions are going to be in the Super Bowl next year, but I absolutely believe they're going to win their division next year. I absolutely believe they have a chance to win home field advantage next year. I will absolutely tell you that they can win every single game that they play next year. I feel like that. I wouldn't say they're. I'm not saying they're going 17-0 and going to host the NFC Championship game and make it to the Super Bowl, but they can win every game they play next year.
I don't have not the Kansas City Chiefs game. I don't have a problem with everything you said. Everything you said is within the realm of
hangover, by the way. Super Bowl hangover.
They still got Patrick Mahomes. Relax. Everything you said, I'm cool with. But when Spencer tells me, man, they got the 9th best odds, I feel disrespected. They should be at least higher.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Thank you. That's what I'm talking about. What you said, I'm fine with that.
Listen to me.
I have no problem.
Listen
Spencer, you're tripping.
Look. Rebuilding since '57.
Right.
One playoff win since '91.
And
we have every right to right now get on our soapbox, stand tall, and say, yeah, we're here. And we're here to stay because we got how many picks out of the top 80?
5.
We're coming, man.
Man, I know you're coming, and I love that. All that's fine. The Detroit Lions are coming. I agree with you on that. But don't sit here and tell me they're going to win the Super Bowl today. And you haven't even been to the playoffs in the last 7 years. My big thing with
Cincinnati wasn't.
Guess what?
Look what they did last year.
You don't have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Okay, that's two different.
Not yet, we don't.
Joe Burrow is right now considered the second best quarterback in the NFL. Me and you agree on that.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Maybe third behind Jalen.
I would actually, speaking of the Lions and the expectations, I feel like Braylon actually today, guys, with my earpiece, because my earpiece fell out, so I feel like Braylon a little bit
Mine
today.
hasn't fallen out one day.
No, I know. I guess I could take it out. I really don't need it. The thing about I would be actually disappointed if they just made the playoffs next year.
Right.
I mean, if they just made it as a wild card road playoff game, I would be totally disappointed. I think they absolutely. My bare minimum for this football team is to win the division and host one playoff game next year. That's my bare minimum.
Right.
So I think it's well within reason to be the 4th best NFC odds. Philadelphia, San Fran. I don't even know about Dallas.
If they get a quarterback.
I don't even know about Dallas.
You still got to put them up there just
because. But Dallas is up there. You already got Micah Parsons talking about how the Super Bowl is going to go through Dallas.
Don't sleep on the Giants. Yeah, he's already recruiting.
He's already
recruiting Calais Campbell.
Right.
Don't sleep on the Giants.
Hey, by the way, yesterday, so the odds came out, right? Yeah. Did you see where Atlanta was? I think Atlanta had the 3rd worst odds of anybody next year. And Atlanta,
like their coach,
if it's not Baltimore, Atlanta is the odds-on favorite to get Lamar Jackson. Wouldn't you?
They were in every game last year.
I know they were in every game last year. And if Lamar Jackson doesn't play for the Ravens, it's widely thought of that he's going to play for the Atlanta Falcons next year.
Take odds now.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, 3rd best odds, or 3rd worst odds to win the Super Bowl next year in the NFC.
Because
throw a little something down on the Falcons.
Yeah, he had all that with the Baltimore Ravens and couldn't get there. Ain't a chance in hell he getting there with the Falcons.
I don't know, man. The NFC.
Hey, Cordero Patterson. They got
the running back / kick returner / wide receiver. Yes, he's amazing.
And they got themselves a good running back last year as well. Tyler Algier. That kid played out of his head.
And you have Evan. You have Evan, and you got you have the receiver Drake London. So you got Drake London. You have tight end. What's up, T-Foss?
Mark Andrews. Or no.
Not Mark Andrews.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. They got some. I kind of forgot about some of the players on that roster.
They got some decent guys.
It isn't the easiest winning. The division that probably could be one of the easiest this year at freaking NFC South.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, I'm starting to come around to what you're saying.
I got you.
I think I'd bet him to win the South.
Huh?
I should bet him. If there's a bet right now open, I should throw a few bucks on him to win the South.
You might
at least.
You might want to pause on that because
I wouldn't do that to win the South.
Derek Carr might be entering the South with the New Orleans Saints. I'm just saying.
He might be.
That might be your bet right there, New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, they might be.
But Braylon, your original question: Are we putting too much stock into next year? I say no. I think this is why you're a sports fan.
Yeah.
To be this excited about your football team. When's the last time you were this excited about a Lions football team from start to finish?
Last year.
I mean, but not really. I mean, nobody really thought other
you
than
said
me.
10 wins.
Other than me.
Yeah.
But I think and I was the outlier. People were clown emoji.
Nah, don't worry about those people.
But I mean, even you guys were like, you really want to say that on the air? 10
right.
wins.
You're absolutely
right. I mean,
right.
even you guys. So
yeah,
you were red hot last year.
I was
hot.
And just the point about it is, like, I feel like everybody believes they're only going up. Without an injury, I think they are only going up. They're only going to improve this team. They're a young football team that is going to get better in the offseason. If they don't add a player,
right,
they're going to be better by virtue of their rookies and second-year guys.
And free agents to be.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm telling you, that's a good class out there.
Yeah,
I understand that. I think for me, I'm just trying to tell Lions fans that
don't pee on us.
I'm not peeing on you at all. I'm telling you, manage your expectations. Because all I'm hearing is Lions fans think they're going to win the Super Bowl. If the Lions get home field advantage, win a playoff game, and then lose in the second round, I don't want Lions fans crying. That's a hell of a year.
Oh, I'm going to cry.
That's a hell of a year.
Oh, no, I'll cry.
I'm not saying crying in terms of, like, disappointment. I'm saying crying in defeat. Oh, my God, they were supposed to win it all. Don't be that guy. Like, be crying, like, cry because they lost. Don't cry because you thought they should have won the Super Bowl.
Well, how about I'll cry if they lose the division?
You deserve to cry then.
Yes.
You deserve to cry then. It's going to be tougher than you think in this division this year, though.
It's Vikings and them.
Don't sleep on Green Bay.
Oh, no, they're done.
Don't sleep on Green
Bay with or without Aaron Rodgers?
With Aaron Rodgers.
I think he's gone. I do. I think, and he's in the
retreat is up.
It starts right now. He just got off with Pat McAfee.
Yeah, he's just doing it today, right?
Yep, he just got off with Pat McAfee. It now starts.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I thought
it's really interesting what's going to happen there. I don't see a scenario that he goes back to play for Green Bay. I don't think they want him back.
You saw him walk off the field last year?
For a reason.
It's over.
It's over in Green Bay. There's no doubt in my mind. What happens from here?
And I'm sad for that because I loved that era of Packers. I just loved the big game feel, the Lambeau Field.
The 425 Packer games.
I loved them. Yeah. I absolutely looked forward to them. There's nothing like watching a game at Lambeau. Nothing like it.
Everybody complains about the Dallas Cowboys being the team that consistently lets you down. They're America's team, although they get in the playoffs, they lose first round. They don't make the playoffs. They get in the playoffs and they do dumb stuff like the game against the 49ers last year where they mismanage the clock and, you lose. Nobody ever talks about Green Bay. You bring up that era. Green Bay has a decade-plus long run of disappointment. Like, they're worse than the Cowboys to me, but the Cowboys, because you talk about them all the time.
Great regular season, though.
Green Bay is a great regular season team. They suck in the playoffs.
They did.
They suck in the playoffs.
They did.
Guys, a couple of coaching notes today, including Jim Caldwell. We'll get to that next, but first a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It is wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, it's Maz for the Foaling Warehouse. If you've never gotten your foal on, you got to get down to Hamtramck and give it a try. You're going to fall in love with it. 2 ways to play it, very inexpensive. $12, unlimited open play. For a private lane reservation, you can get it for 2 hours. A lane on your own, plus 10 or 12 people on that lane. Have some fun. Run you $120. Any drink you want, by the way. Multiple full bars. They have over 100 beers on the menu and the $2 mystery beer machine. Get on down there. Get your foal on at foalingwarehouse.com.
Shout out to everybody there on a beautiful Valentine's Day.
Forgot about that, man.
Happy birthday to my baby sister, Jen.
It is Valentine's Day, and I just want to shout out Gabby. Gabby's amazing. Gabby's working here now with us, Woodward Sports Network.
Gabby
and
Phillips.
She's just amazing. She is amazing. She gave everybody these little candy bags for Valentine's Day, so appreciate her on that. I got my Skittles and my Twix.
Look at that.
Shout out Gabby. Show her some love, man. She's always thinking of us.
Can't beat that.
When my sister was born, it was a Valentine baby, and I remember it was like 7:30, 7:45 at night. I remember my dad picking up the phone. He was home with me and my 3 sisters at the time. My mother was at the hospital with my grandma and grandpa. Yeah, Dad was with us. Isn't that something, the way it's changed?
Yeah, right.
And he picks up the phone. It's the doctor. Doctor's calling to tell you, hey, congratulations, you got a brand new baby. And I was sitting there right by the phone with them, and he's describing it. 6 pounds, 7 ounces, this and that, this long. A brand new baby. And I was like, please be a brother. Please be a brother. Baby girl. My 4th sister. I'll never forget it, ever. But I brought my sister Jen up like a brother. And I'll put her up against any of you clowns on the forum. She knows her sports, man. She knows her sports inside and out. Fantastic mother to twins, great wife, great lawyer, and my baby sister Jen. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Jen. No doubt about it.
Happy birthday, Jen.
Absolutely, that is something.
I'll never forget it.
I'll.
You know what was on TV?
Man.
Get Smart was on TV.
Who was hosting that game show?
No, Get Smart was a show.
That's a show.
Don Adams. Get Smart. You old guys out there know what Get Smart
Get
is.
Smart is a detective show.
It was so good. So freaking
Used to
good.
wear the hat.
Exactly.
Guys, hey, Jim Caldwell has a new job, guys. Jim Caldwell has been hired as a senior assistant.
Only took 10 years.
With the Carolina Panthers. So he joins Frank Reich's staff. I'm not really sure what that means, by the way, a senior assistant.
He's like what Brian Flores was with Mike Tomlin.
Is he kind of like an overseer?
Yeah, that's what he did with
sounding
Miami.
board.
That's what he did in the Dolphins.
Yeah. That's what I think everybody should have.
A Jim Caldwell.
A Jim Caldwell.
Yeah.
Right?
The old wise black man.
He was not good.
Sure.
Listen, Braylon, he was not good on the sidelines.
Yeah,
he was
no.
not. He sucked on the sidelines. He sucked at calling a game, but he was the greatest guy in practice. The players loved him. His spot is exactly where he is.
When
right
you
now.
have a senior position like this for someone that's been a head coach, someone that's been an offensive or defensive coordinator for a very long time, or a guy that's just been in the game, like a guy like, well, I guess he did it all, Eric Mangini. When coaches or organizations hire that guy, he has an office. His office is right next to the coach's office or it's somewhere in the vicinity. He's a sounding board. Frank Reich goes down there and bounces ideas. Hey, I've been seeing our players respond this way to this, lately. Like, what have you seen? What do you think? What was your time like with the coach? What was Peyton like? What did you like? You go down there, you have these conversations. Other coaches, they may go sound off on Jim Caldwell, or Jim watches and observes in meetings and practices, and he sees things that he might see a position coach is missing, or a position coach doesn't see, or even players. Like, he's the guy that kind of walks off, and he's able to talk to other players, he's able to talk to other coaches, and he's able to talk to the head man, Frank Wright, even the general manager. He may come down there to Jim Caldwell and say, hey, look at how this team is constructed right now. Like, what's a move you would make? Like your man said, you guys hit the nail on the head. It is a sounding board, but he's a sounding board for multiple positions. Position coaches, as well as coordinators, as well as the head man, as well as players.
I think it's one of those things, too, where I think every head coach should have this.
Yeah.
How many times have we talked about mismanagement or what we believe to be mismanagement of a clock or something like this? I think you throw somebody like a Jim Caldwell up in the booth to kind of forecast, right? kind of look ahead a little bit. While a head coach might be in the moment and calling plays on any particular down, I mean, you got to have scenarios that are presented to you.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the half, there might be 8 minutes to go in the half, but you're looking ahead down to a final 2 minutes of playing this thing out like gamblers do. Gamblers. I can say this with a great certainty. I am not wrong about this. Nobody knows how to manage a clock better than a gambler.
Facts.
Yeah.
What do you think the line changes so quickly for as the game progresses? Vegas knows.
And I would almost hire somebody associated in that life to help these coaches with the clock. I mean, when I was gambling, I haven't gambled in a long time, but when I was gambling, the crap I could see moving forward, and Maz, please back me up on
I got you.
Yeah.
You see things completely different than what is happening right before your eyes in that moment. And I think every team, every head coach could be benefited, especially in clock management, by hiring a gambler.
Yeah. If I'm the owner of the Carolina Panthers or the general manager, and I'm watching Frank Reich, oh cool, this is our hire. We've hired Frank Reich, but I've seen Frank Reich's track record. He wasn't too good with the Indianapolis Colts. I think he could use another voice. I think he can use somebody. For all those people out there laughing, like, yeah, but Jim Caldwell's been in a ton of situations over the past 30 years as it relates to football. He's been in a ton of situations with a ton of players that you would want to pull from, be it Peyton Manning losing the Super Bowl, his experience at that time, be it here with the Detroit Lions. He has a ton of experience that you can pull from, and a lot of people can benefit from that. Like Frank Reich definitely is looking at himself too, like, all right, it didn't go exactly ideal. Maybe I got to take a step back. Maybe I got to ask this gentleman from time to time, hey, what do you see? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you take the ego out of the room, a lot of coaches that have success, they have success because they still reach out to people and ask them, like, what do you see? Like, what do you see? You don't think Doug Peterson was on the phone with Andy Reid when they won the Super Bowl? Like, people are still reaching out. Hey, Bill, what do you see on that from Josh McDaniels? Hey, if Bill picks the phone up, you got to have people like that. And the fact you have somebody like that in your building and Jim Caldwell, I think it bodes well for Frank Reich or any franchise.
Look what Brad Holmes has on his side. He's got John Dorsey.
Mm-hmm.
John Dorsey's here. No one talks about him. John Dorsey is very well equipped to run a front office. He's run great front offices. He's made great draft picks. The Lions really set their system up beautifully. Now the head coach, he came in, he made some mistakes. I'm not sure if who he's leaning on, to tell you the truth. I would love, like if Bill Parcells was like an assistant, like a senior guy here, or someone like that.
You just want to see Bill.
I do. I just want to see it too. The tuna, he hangs in my office. Him
he's
and
the
LT.
man. He's the man.
Him and LT, arm around each other. That's what I have in the center of my office at home. It would be nice to have a little help here.
Just a little bit of help.
Just a little, because let's face it, he's still learning. Obviously, he can't make the mistakes that he made last year in the beginning of the year. He did get better as the year went on. I'm talking about Dan Campbell. But he cannot go back to those dark days of that Minnesota game and the way the Baltimore game and so on and so forth. The Bears. There was a lot left on the table. The Dolphins, the Seattle Seahawks. You can go on and on and on.
Carolina game.
If he had some help, who knows what would have happened last year.
Okay, so you know how you went back and watched the Super Bowl and just saw it completely different than the first time you had it?
Yeah.
I wonder if these coaches go back and watch their own games. And I know they look at the game. I know they absolutely dissect every play and what you could have done on this play, scheme, play call.
Talking about critique themselves?
But critique themselves holistically. Mm-hmm. What you would do in certain situations if you go back and just watch the game as a whole, not with the clicker in your hand where you're stopping and starting and going back and rewinding to see if friggin' Brock Wright not cracked down on the linebacker or something, but just took the remote, put it down, and just watch the game. And you're yelling at the screen like a fan would do. Call a timeout right here. timeout. And then you see the friggin' clock wind down another 30, 40 seconds, and then the coach calls the timeout, and you're like, bro, what are you doing?
When I was playing for the New York Jets, I would come into the buildings on off days, on Tuesdays. Obviously, so you come in Monday, the day after the game, and I think when you get a lift in, meetings are at 1. Have the meetings. You do a quick walkthrough at like 2:15. You're out of the building 2:45. But I would come on Tuesdays, get treatment, kick it around, maybe get a workout in, BS around a little bit with the trainers. I would always go out and holler at Rex. Like me and Rex, I just love Rex, man. But I would go down there and I would always hear him yelling at the
How do you not?
I would always hear him just yelling. And this is typical Rex, but he's yelling and Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is he always like? I'm always thinking he's yelling at somebody. He was always watching the game tape.
Yeah.
And he's always watched the game copy. So what you're talking about,
that's right. The game copy.
There's a coach's version of what we see on TV. They have their own video.
So but Rex would watch the game copy. I'm talking about like Fox, NBC, CBS. Like he would just speak through commercials, or they would have it for him where he didn't have the commercials. But Rex would be watching like the game copy, listening to what the commentators are saying, listening to how it looks, listening to how players react, looking at himself. I'm like, why are you watching this game tape? He's like, hey, bud, I just want to see. Because he's still a fan of the game. And I think right there is a merit of helping you out when you watch it that way. Like, damn, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have seen that. Because when you're watching the quiet tape and you're watching cut up, that's what that's called, and you're watching the wide copy or the end zone copy, and it's just silent as hell, you can't really watch the game. You can't see what's impacted. You can't see where you missed the timeout, etc. So some coaches do that. I know Rex did it for a fact.
And that's why we love Rex.
Yeah.
Just one of the many reasons why we love Rex.
Always one of my favorites.
Absolutely.
Still.
How do you not? Guys, I want to take a break. When we come back, more coaching news. There is another coaching vacancy off the board. That leaves one more.
Well, there's someone's talking to one of the Lions, too.
Absolutely. We'll get to that as well. The Bucs are interviewing one of the Lions assistants, what that would mean moving forward. One coaching vacancy remains in Arizona. The Indianapolis Colts have settled on their guy. We'll let you know about Shane Steichen. We'll do that next, but first a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
All right, Ryan. Hey, this is a special week for Chili Peppers Tanning. It is free tan week from today until Saturday. That's right, Saturday, February 18th. Got to get there, because if you go to any Chili Peppers Tanning, any new customer to any level, you're getting a free level UV tanning for free today. And when I say you get to any of them, there's 27 locations, 2 right here on Woodward Avenue. So you have no excuse. Get your free tan this week up till Saturday. 50% off their best stuff, too. Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Cali Tan, and the Swedish Beauty. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals. They'll save you $5 against any competitor on unlimited tanning. But this week, up till Saturday, it's free tanning week at Chili Peppers Tanning. Your best deals, your hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters, chilipepperstanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Central World is an aspirational lifestyle beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavor energy beverages and premium bottled waters. Centron is functional, it's fashionable, and it's fun. Simply put, WoodwardSports.com and everybody around the city, including the Pistons and the Red Wings, we can't get enough of this stuff. Centron, drink it, live it.
I stand corrected. I don't know where I was when the Arizona Cardinals hired Jonathan Gannon.
Oh, my God.
Just now.
Oh.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Just now.
Are you absolutely...
I had no idea.
I thought he was going to get fired. by the Eagles.
I was a little preoccupied at the news station today where I didn't. There you go. It just happened right now.
I don't understand the Arizona Cardinals. I don't understand when people make moves like this. The Arizona Cardinals have struggled. They have struggled to find identity. They have struggled to find a consistency, and they've struggled to help their quarterback out, who everybody has pushed to the business, and maybe he's ostracized himself from the team. You don't hire a young defensive coordinator who didn't know what the hell he was doing with one of the best defensive assembled teams of all time. Your job as defensive coordinator, you had the perfect team to play in the Super Bowl. And you didn't let those guys show up. You didn't put those guys in good position to help against the opposition. But you get rewarded with a head coaching job of the Arizona Cardinals. That team is going to suck again, and they're going to be worse. These are the type of hires that franchises do, that when their team their brand stays in the toilet. Look at franchises in the toilet. They have horrible ownership. They have horrible identity around the building, on the team. They don't have leaders. Outside of Buda Baker, they don't have any leaders. People are jumping off the ship to try to get out of Arizona. This is how you keep bad franchises bad. They will be at the bottom of that division for years to come after a hire like this.
That breaks the streak of all the offensive coaches getting hired.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, DeMeco Ryans and him. 2 defensive coaches hired this offseason.
Out of 5 jobs, too. There were five jobs.
But, the way it's been going the last few years, it's been offensive guys. We've been talking about it for weeks, how if you're a defensive coordinator, you're probably not going to be a head coach right away. We talked about Aaron Glenn. I'm surprised Aaron Glenn didn't get that job. If they hired this guy, why the hell not hire Aaron Glenn? What did he do?
Just quickly, I do want to point out, because this was breaking. This broke just after 2 o'clock on Tuesday. The Colts also, talking about Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator of the Eagles, the offensive coordinator of the Eagles, Shane Steichen, he gets the job in Indianapolis. So you've got both coordinators from the NFC champion Eagles getting head coaching jobs. Shane Steichen, he's done a tremendous job with Jalen Hurts.
Now, on the other side of the ball, excuse me, man, Gabby got me with this candy. On the other side of the ball, you see what he was able to do with Jalen Hurts. You talk about Nick Sirianni, talk about meeting Jalen Hurts where he was. Well, that's because of Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen was able to work with Jalen Hurts and say, hey, what were you comfortable with at Oklahoma? What worked for you in Alabama? Like, what do you like? What don't you like? How can we have this success? And I think they've elevated the RPO to the next level. It's not the RPO anymore. It used to be the RPO. Okay, run, pass, option. Man, it's like RPO has like 4 options now. And I think what they did with Jalen Hurts is part of the reason why you have that, and him being able to throw the ball. This is an example of when you have success, when you do what you're supposed to, these are the type of hires you want to see. This hire makes a lot of sense. I saw what you did with Jalen Hurts. I saw what you did this year. You got to the Super Bowl. I saw the offense in the Super Bowl. The run game sucked, but that's not necessarily on you. This is called a good hire. Gannon to the Cardinals, that's called a terrible hire.
I think the Colts might have hoodwinked Arizona and maybe jumped them and hired Steichen or gave him more money, because look, right after that, they're like, okay, I guess we'll take the defensive coordinator from Philly. I mean, that's the way it looks to me.
Yeah, I don't know what Arizona's situation was, because, if you believe what Terry Bradshaw said about Sean Payton wants nothing to do with Kyler Murray.
Right.
That to me is a fact.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have been leaked, but it was leaked.
Thanks, Terry.
Thanks, Terry. And I guarantee you a lot of people thought that way.
Yeah.
If you looked at the odds for next year's Super Bowl, I think Arizona was last, or they were either last or second to last.
Because Houston was last, and I think Arizona was
second to last, because Kyler Murray is not expected to play next year. So you wonder really what the pool of candidates was for Arizona. Now, I know I always say it's my saying, there's only 32 of these things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of money at stake. But you wonder who Arizona really had to choose from.
They wanted Peyton.
They absolutely wanted Sean Payton.
He didn't want them.
But again, I think in today's day and age,
he took Russell Wilson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But in today's day and age, there are coaches There are coaches that get this deal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you get if you're in a good situation and you leave that situation for a head coaching job that's a bad situation, man, there's a certain stink that stays with you for a while. A lot of these guys, they only get one job. And do you want to risk that one opportunity on a quarterback like Kyler Murray that everybody's saying is just toxic, just not a good situation?
I'm so glad you're finally understanding. It is 32 of these things, but if it ain't the right one, it does not matter.
That's right. So
you saw Ben Johnson this year. Like Ben Johnson.
That's exactly right, Ray.
Ben Johnson wants to be with the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson wants to see this thing through. He wants this year to be the year that they take not a step, they take that step. They get to the NFC Championship. They may get to the Super Bowl. Like that's what he wants. But at the same time, that job that he wasn't out there. And Ben Johnson knew, hey, you know what? I'm in a good situation.
Right.
I'm still young. This thing is working. Why would I put myself at the risk to get the coaching opportunity, coach a franchise that I know the quarterback sucks, the owners aren't the best, or blah, blah, blah. Now I know, I'm going to make money. I'm going to sign a 5-year deal. They'll fire me after 2. I'll have money, and I'll get back on somebody's staff. Why want to go through that? Why not wait? I think coaches are now put in good situations. If you have success, like Steichen did, like Ben Johnson is doing, you put yourself in the elite category where you can pick your job and you can hold on and wait. That's the smart way to do it nowadays.
And the Colts are quarterback away, right? I mean, the Colts,
they
we believe, are
we
quarterback
thought they were going to
away.
contend this year.
Their defense has been the elite defense for the past 4.5 years.
Exactly. And by the way, but Matt, just quickly, I just want to say this Gannon guy's no bum. I mean, a top 10 defense last year, number 2 defense in the league this year. Crappy game in the Super Bowl for sure, second half specifically.
Lost to Mahomes.
Huh?
He lost to Mahomes.
It's no bum,
no
though.
shine.
Yeah, you say it's no bum, but I look at a team that has 7 All-Pros on their defensive side. They got
2.
They have 7. They have 11 Pro Bowlers total, including alternates.
Okay.
And they got 2 All-Pros. You look at that. You look at that defense. You look at how they constructed that defense. He basically put them on the field. Said, "Hey, go beat Patrick Mahomes."
Fair enough.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but when you have a roster full of talent like that, and they play all season, he didn't do anything special with that defense. He shouldn't do anything special with that defense. So I think that was a bad hire. Could be wrong. As stats say it. I think it was a bad hire.
Sean Payton took a job with the Broncos, who have no picks, no money. Russell Wilson off his worst year in history. Instead of going to Arizona in the easy NFC West, could have wrote his own ticket, could have done anything he wanted. Bidwell's was going to give him the red carpet. And he chose to go to Denver. It just shows you what they got in Arizona. They have Kyler Murray on a bum wheel and
a terrible contract
and a bad contract that they just signed him with, and nothing else really. And he chose Denver.
Go ahead. I was going to say, and I do think it is worth pointing out that they are the 5th of 5 teams to make a head coaching hire. Does that tell you anything as well?
Well, they waited. Once they didn't get Peyton, they wanted somebody from Philly, because you have to wait till after the Super Bowl.
Right.
If I were them, I would have gotten Bieniemy. Go to the offensive side and go get Bieniemy. You're hiring this guy. I just don't get it.
I don't get the Bieniemy thing either. I don't get it. He's interviewed 15 times and been passed up 15 times over. I don't understand it.
Me neither.
Now some guys, like Jim Schwartz is a coordinator, right? I mean, Jim Schwartz,
he could be a head coach.
I don't know.
I like them.
Like, what's the deal with Bieniemy?
Here's the thing. Like, this could be the thing. I don't know for a fact. Like, so many people want things for somebody, and you want something that somebody may not want. Like, there were times during the Colin Kaepernick towards the end where like everybody was like, "Man, you won't get this man a job? Damn, give him a job." Like, I didn't see Colin asking for a job. Like, it got to the point where people were still lobbying on his behalf. I said, I haven't seen Colin mention football in 3-4 years.
Right.
And people kept lobbying on his behalf. And finally, this past year, he's doing a workout at Michigan spring game. He's all right. I'll do something just to shut people up. It could be the same thing with Eric Bieniemy. Everybody's lobbying on Eric Bieniemy's behalf that he should be hired as a head coach. Maybe when he goes into these rooms, maybe because he really doesn't trust in himself, he really doesn't want to be a head coach. Maybe these interviews aren't good interviews. Maybe the people interviewing him are like, I don't know if I want to be the head coach of my franchise, but he's a damn good offensive coordinator. Maybe he's interviewing half-assed and half-heartedly because he really wants to be the head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's going through the motions. So I don't know this for a fact, but if 16 tries, 16 interviews, or 15 interviews, but we also know that he's waiting for that job, maybe he don't want to be a head coach. And maybe we want it for him more than he wants it for himself.
I mean, there's got to be something going on. Maybe he just doesn't. Yeah, Braylon, I wish I knew, because it just seems like the resume on paper is there.
Stellar.
Yeah. I don't know what he's like off the paper, for lack of a better way to say it.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's like in an interview or anything like that, but I don't get it. This guy gets passed up again, and we go through a head coaching cycle where, you know, the champs pretty much call the shots, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator of the NFC champions, they get plucked.
Look at Kevin O'Connell last year. Kevin O'Connell, offensive coordinator, Los Angeles Rams. They won the Super Bowl. What happens? He gets first pick. He picks the Minnesota Vikings because they have Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook. You're absolutely right. When you win, the spoils go to the winner. In this case, it doesn't seem like he's getting any spoils.
And I feel like that's the case for Ben Johnson too, right? I mean, maybe he didn't want to be Carolina's head coach, because I do think he could have been Carolina's head coach if he wanted to be. And he believes in his own self and the Lions organization that they will win a division next year, that they will go deep in the playoffs next year. And when you do that, and the same for Aaron Glenn, when you do that, when you play in these important games in late January and hell, maybe even early February, you just get a job. You get a job from that.
100%. I mean, you're looking, you know, they went 8-2 in the last 10 games. Look what the offense did all season, especially in the first 7 games of the season. Like, he built that system up, so he had a lot of success. But once again, he's like, hey, I'm waiting. That Los Angeles Chargers job still looks good. I'm telling you, because Brandon Staley's getting fired next year. You just never know. But he's building something special here in Detroit. Hey, I know Detroit's happy to have him.
More NFL next, but first a message from Guardian Alarm. Your local security experts have been for over 90 years. You see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 local monitoring, and technology backed by people. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, wintertime in Detroit's always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. Start off with the breakfast. You got the stuffed potato pancake, and then you get the great eggs that they make, the great omelets, the lumberjack omelet, the Santa Fe Garden, and the blockbuster. And then for lunch and dinner, you got it, the Cajun chicken Alfredo or the classic meatloaf. Try them all at your local Big Boy.
Big Boy. All right, Tom Mazawey, let's have some fun. Let's go around the NFL, shall we?
You got it. Hey, let's start it right close here in Allen Park, and we might lose a guy we just hired. Remember the Lions just last week hired a new running back coach. His name, Scotty Montgomery from the Colts. Well, it looks like the Buccaneers interviewed Scotty Montgomery for their vacant offensive coordinator job. That who was their offensive coordinator? He used to play for he was a quarterback. Byron Leftwich. He's gone. Yeah. So Scotty Montgomery interviewed in Tampa Bay. What do you think?
You want to be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's how you get. That's how you get the head coach.
You want to be an offensive coordinator, and we talk. We talk about black head coaches a lot. We need more black offensive coordinators.
Yeah, that's how you get them.
Right? I mean, in the guy in Arizona notwithstanding,
Leslie,
your quickest way to get a head coaching job is to be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Forget about the amount of head coaches there were in 2022. There were 2 black offensive coordinators in 2022. Byron Leftwich and Eric Bieniemy. So if you want to talk about lack of head coaches in the NFL, just look at the lack of offensive coordinators. Start there. Because that's, to me, the quickest way to become a head coach in today's day and age.
This is a pretty impressive rise for Scotty Montgomery. The reason why I say that is running backs are the positional offense that are least likely to produce offensive coordinators and then head coaches. They never come from the running back position. Running back coaches usually get buried. Of all the running back coaches I've had since I played, they were running back coaches for years. Like, they never ascended to offensive coordinator. They never assisted to play game, passing game coordinator. They were a running backs coach. So for a running back coach to ascend to offensive coordinator, kudos to him, because that's one of those positions as a coach you can get stuck as a running backs coach for a very long time. Fred Graves, who was a Detroit Lions coach, like Gary Brown, who played for the Oilers and the Cowboys, was one of my running backs coach. Like, all the running backs coach that I saw, they never got past being a running backs coach. So good job by him.
Hey, you know how crazy the Colts owner Jim Irsay is? Good guy, wild guy. Crazy dude. He got his man. He got his coach. It's not Jeff Saturday. He got Sean Steichen from the Eagles. Well, he has put it out there that he wants a quarterback, obviously, and he is hot after Bryce Young. Look what Ari Mayeroff wrote after Jim Irsay was so excited about Bryce Young.
Jim Irsay is letting it all out, not hiding anything. Quote, the Alabama guy doesn't look bad, I'll tell you. End quote. He's talking about Bryce Young, obviously, says Ari Mayeroff, our good friend from the 33rdteam.com. This is amazing. Colts would likely need to trade up, and Irsay is openly saying it on Twitter. If and when the Colts call the Bears about number 1, Chicago quite literally just needs to show them this. We know your owner loves him. Pay up. Now, one of the things that we saw yesterday, Maz, was this 33rd team mock draft.
Yes.
In which Bryce Young is taken by the Chicago Bears. Would they consider doing this? The Chicago Bears consider taking Bryce Young at number 1, and then what do you do with Justin Fields?
Yeah, maybe he goes to the Colts. Who knows? Who knows?
Start the clock on the quarterback again. Because this general manager that was hired last year did not select Justin Fields.
Right.
Just remember the last team that took a quarterback number 1, gave up on him, and took another quarterback at number 1. Do you know who it is?
Arizona Cardinals.
Josh Rosen. See ya. Kyler Murray. Come on in.
And they want to say see ya to him, too.
That really didn't work.
No. Most quarterbacks...
If I'm the Bears, I'm holding Justin Fields.
Most quarterbacks don't work that are selected in the first round, right? I mean,
define work.
You have a player on your team that you selected that you believe is going to be your quarterback for the next 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
Your starting quarterback for the next 10 or 12 years. And ultimately, I think you're hoping that the guy wins a playoff game, heaven forbid, wins a Super Bowl.
Yeah, we live in an era now, like, everything is now. Like teams don't, like, back in the day, you draft the quarterback in the first round, like, you're going to make it work. Like, you're going to stay with him until it works, and by the time you realize it doesn't work, you know, Steve Berline has been playing for your team for 12 years. Like, nowadays, it's like, hey, we need it to work now. You got 2 years to figure it out.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to give his name, here's another reference, but, you know, I'm telling the truth. Like, now it's like, hey, boom, we saw you 2 years. Hey, Trey Lance, we tried this and it didn't work. Yeah, I know you got hurt, but, we'll see. Now you got to come in ready. Teams are like, we got to win now.
Hey, listen, Trey Lance, Jordan Love, we don't really know yet. They might still turn out to be terrific picks and play quarterback for their teams for a long time. We're going to talk about these quarterbacks.
Love, we know. Trey Lance,
I don't think you know yet, man. I don't think you know yet.
I think so.
We'll find out this year. If we get a shot.
No, we knew now, because if that were the case, then the Green Bay Packers would have never gave Aaron Rodgers $150 million. Like, if Jordan Love was the deal, they wouldn't offer him.
It's still Aaron Rodgers.
But I understand that. But if you knew Jordan Love was that good, or he was good enough to take the reins, you're not going to pay $150 million. You would have started that process then. Like, you know what? Nah, Aaron, we could do 1 year for 40, or we'll just take, Jordan Love. If you believed in him that, you're not giving somebody at almost 40 years old $150 million. Trey Lance, we don't know. Jordan Love, we do.
Yeah, I don't. I think I know, but I don't know. I don't want to see him throw 6 touchdowns against the Lions like Matt Flynn did, right?
Oh, man.
I mean, I don't want to see it, but I don't. With the Aaron Rodgers thing, too, I mean, they were coming off 3 straight 13-win seasons, the number 1 seed overall last year. I think they were not ready to call it quits on Aaron Rodgers yet. I think they were trying to do anything in their power to try to run it back with him. And now, if they are able to dump him, then it was worth it. You tried it for 1 year, it didn't work. Now let somebody else pick up that salary.
Hey, the MVP, Patrick Mahomes, 2-time MVP in the Super Bowl, took his family to where yesterday? Disneyland.
Never gets old.
He wanted to go to Disneyland with the family. There he is with his wife, Brittany, and their 2 young kids. Beautiful family. Congratulations to Patrick. He's done Disney World. He said he wanted to do Disneyland. So that's where the MVP was yesterday. And I know I've said it in the past,
Disney World
but
is way better about it.
I know. Well, yeah, Disneyland is older.
It's the original.
It's the original.
Disney World was the vision of Walt Disney. Disneyland was, we got to hurry up and get this up while I'm alive.
Disneyland, California, Disney World, Florida.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Disneyland and, just in Downey, California. Matter of fact, who was the first quarterback? Who was the first MVP to go to Disney?
Phil Sims.
The Giants.
Just wanted to double check that you guys remember that.
Phil Sims, you just won the Super Bowl. Well, I wanted you to answer it, but I just wanted to be able to finish the impersonation.
Go ahead. Do it.
Tom Brady, you just won the Super Bowl. Where are you going next?
We're going to Disney World.
Mark Champion. He still doesn't do that anymore, does he?
I don't know.
I got a funny Phil Sims story. So Phil Sims and
Ryan.
Yeah, it sucks.
Phil Sims and Boomer Esiason look alike. Like, you can say what you want to say. Like, growing up, I thought they were the same person. I was like, I thought he was with the Giants. Like, I always thought they were the same person. Phil said something about me on TV. Like, he said something. Like, he said a comment that wasn't very nice.
What did he say? You remember it. If you remember, you remember it. You remember it. If you're telling a story about Phil Sims saying a comment that wasn't nice, you remember it.
He made a comment that wasn't nice.
Okay.
And so then I get interviewed. This is when I was with the Jets. And I tell you off air, Ryan. This is when I was with the Jets. So then Boomer Esiason comes to the facility because Boomer's working for CBS. We did a CBS game. So Boomer's interviewing me. I told him I didn't want to do the interview. They were like, why don't you want to? And Boomer's a former Jet. Like, his daughter and Woody Johnson's daughter are best friends. See them in all the events. I was like, man, he said some BS about me. He's like, are you sure? I said, yes. So he said, why don't you just hash it out and we'll see. I said, you know what, fine. He's a legend, it is what it is. He's a part of the Jet family. I'll do it. So I sit down with him. He said, Braylon, like, am I to understand I said something about you? I said, yeah, man, you know what you said? Like, it was like 3 weeks ago. And he was like, before I go any further, you sure it wasn't Phil Sims? I was like, oh, shoot, it was Phil Sims. So it was Phil Sims that said it.
No!
It was Phil Sims. He was on the desk when it happened. He remembered the comment. He said, don't worry, Braylon. People get us mixed up all the time. So I was like, yo, Boomer, I'm sorry, man. Like, he was like, hey, it's all good. So we actually got cool. We actually got cool off that. He's invited me to a couple soirees.
Yeah, they all look alike anyway, right?
Them two. It's reversed.
Oh my God!
Those two definitely look alike.
That is a great story.
Yeah, I was like,
dude.
oh, it was Phil Sims. I'm sorry, but boom, you know you're my guy.
That is
a good.
He's great on radio.
I don't like Phil Sims, by the way, but Boomer's a great dude.
Great on radio in New York.
Boomer Esiason.
Well, we're even because I don't like Chris Sims.
You don't like Chris Sims? I love him.
Guy's done nothing to me ever in his life. I just don't like him. I don't know what it is. I'm sure he's a very nice person.
His dad is an elite. His dad is the elite giant quarterback that won Super Bowls. He grew up with a silver spoon and being a douchebag.
But I don't mind silver spoons and douchebags. I don't mind.
He's a douchebag.
I just something about him that I just don't like, and that's okay. I am allowed.
Is it because he didn't have success in the NFL, but he breaks down players like he did?
No, because I
was going to say Orlowski does that.
Yeah, there's a lot of quarterbacks.
Exactly.
Most people don't. You know what I mean? Most people don't have that elite success.
I don't like Chris.
Right? Yeah, I can't figure it out. I think I saw him on a Notre Dame broadcast one time years ago when he just first started out. And he wanted to be so perfect. I was like, who's this douchebag? You know what I mean?
So you didn't even give him a chance.
I gave him no chance. Like I said, I'm sure he's a fine person. I shouldn't say that about people.
I think he does a great job.
I'm sure he does too. Like, you know how you just pick guys you don't like?
Yeah.
He's one of those guys for me. How many people don't like me for no reason? I'm a very nice person.
Clown emoji.
Right.
There's a couple.
I mean, there's people out there that don't like me. If you don't like me, it's not my fault.
True.
You know what I mean?
It's your fault.
It's your fault. That's a you problem.
That's a you problem.
I'm a very nice person.
You are.
Some guys, they just hate for no reason.
For no reason.
For no reason.
Yeah, so he doesn't like
habitual haters.
Buddy doesn't like you.
Yeah,
some guys, they just hate
don't
for
like
no
his
reason.
face.
All right, guys. I don't like your face.
I got more.
We're going to get there next. Guys, let me tell you about Custom Health Centers. I'm sure you like my face. It is thinned down thanks to our friends from Custom Health Centers. That's right. They take the willpower out of weight loss. 20 pounds, 120 pounds. They've got a customized approach for you and your weight loss needs. All you have to do is take that first step. Pick up the phone. 844-789-THIN. Pick up the phone. Get a consultation. Just start there. 844-789-THIN. Call them right now. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, welcome back, woodwardsports.com. Hopefully you're finding some peace and comfort. On a day like today, our hearts are with everybody involved in the Michigan State Spartan community, in the communities of Grosse Pointe and Clawson. The three students who were shot and killed have been identified. Our condolences to the family. We wrap our arms around the Michigan State community and those three lost and their families and the 5 others who are in critical condition. Right now at Sparrow Hospital.
Keep fighting,
all
guys.
8 students were, all 8 victims were students of Michigan State University. We talked about it for the first 20 minutes of the show. Wanted to acknowledge it once again as more information is coming out, and just say that we know today's a tough day. We absolutely know it, and we're thinking about you today, and we're talking about some sports, trying to have a little bit of a distraction for you all out there.
Hey, do me a favor and tell Roop Raj that hats off to him and his crew last night. They were phenomenal.
Definitely want to send some love that way. When I finally looked at it, because I didn't see it right away. I didn't see it till later. I was actually sending you guys topics and ideas I wanted to talk about, and then I went back and looked up and realized I was being insensitive. When I first saw it, I was hoping that all the Michigan fans were, as we're doing, rapping Michigan State, rapping the campus, rapping the families, rapping everybody with love, because we live in a weird world. And I didn't want to see any Michigan jokes about Michigan State. I didn't see any of that BS, like from our side, from University of Michigan, and it was none of that today. So I was happy. You just never know in situations like this. There still are some terrible people on everywhere. So good job by showing love, man.
Absolutely. So we continue on here. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch. We got JB wearing that Lions pride hat, baby. We rocking the Lions today.
15 wins.
And speaking of the Lions,
Lions fans.
Absolutely. Not speaking of the Lions. We
Lions
never
fans.
mind. I don't even know. See, I don't have my
Speaking
ears
of
today.
football.
Speaking of football. Thank you, Tom
You got
Mazawey.
it,
Let's
Phil.
continue on with it.
Hey, I know
Thank
you
you.
made the championship game, but it still sucks to lose. Tough time in Philly.
Ooh.
The last 3 of their professional teams that have made the finals have lost. The Phillies, of
forgot
course,
about the Phillies.
the Eagles, and their soccer team.
Union.
I
As well.
forgot about the Phillies,
World Series,
too.
yeah.
I mean, what a crappy thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they were up, too.
yeah, I mean, you love getting there. You hate losing. But I'd rather get there and lose than not get there at all. Right?
Yeah.
See, I've been asked that question because I've been in the AFC Championship twice and lost. And people always ask, like, would you rather have gone and lost or not go? And I'm like, I kind of rather not go. And the reason I say that is because, yes, you go and lose. Yeah, you get to be part of the Super Bowl, that week or the 2 weeks leading up. You get media day. You get a jersey that has a Super Bowl emblem on it. And you play in the game. Hell, you may score a touchdown. You may be an MVP like Jalen Hurts, but it just doesn't go your way because the other team wins. I would never be able to get out of that moment. Like with the confetti falling, and the confetti falling for the other team, and I got to watch them win a Super Bowl. Like, people go their whole lives that want to play football, dreaming to go in the Super Bowl, dreaming to win the Super Bowl, dreaming to say, I'm going to Disney World. I don't want to get all the way to that point just to be let off at the last step. So I'd rather not go. And maybe it's easy for me to say that because I didn't go, but something about losing that game.
You lost championship games.
Yeah, but I didn't go to the Super Bowl, though. Like, I didn't get all the way. And then think of Dan Marino. You think Dan Marino would have rather gone to that Super Bowl and
What
never
about
go
Jim
back
Kelly?
again?
I think Jim Kelly would have
Think
rather
he's sick
gone
to
to
his stomach.
4.
No. I mean, well, he went to 4, though. So, like, I'd rather go to 4 and lose.
Right.
Man, that would hurt more, but
It all
at
might
least
be
I had
different.
4 cracks at it.
Right.
It all might be different had he won that first one when the Giants nipped them 19-17. Scott Norwood missed that field goal.
Well,
They
what
win that
changed?
Super Bowl, you don't know what could have happened.
What changes if he makes the kick that he should have made?
What changes?
Yeah.
I don't know. Confidence? I don't know.
No,
I'm not an athlete.
They still were the best team in the league the next year.
They were. They just
Yeah.
ran into better teams, I guess. Dallas, San Francisco.
I think that was the only game they were the favorite in, right?
The Giants game.
They
They were favored one of the Giants, Bills, Giants.
Yeah, of the
They were
4 Super Bowls, I think they were only favored one time.
They were favored one of the Cowboy games.
Oh,
I think.
really?
I think so.
Yeah,
it might have
okay.
been the first one.
The first one against the Cowboys.
Yeah, it might have been the first
that
one.
was it.
Yeah, they
Anyway.
were underdogs against the Skins/Commanders, and then also the
Yeah.
Cowboys the second time.
Yep. Hey, the next 2 Super Bowls, we just saw one in Arizona. We're going to see the next 2. One's going to be next year in Vegas. The year after that, it's going to be in New Orleans, and then it's up for grabs after that.
Is it really in
yeah.
26?
Yep, just the next 2 Super Bowls are spoken for right now. And you don't know where Super Bowl 59 would be.
I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you where it's got to be.
So it'll be Super Bowl 60.
Super Bowl 60.
Super Bowl 60 is still up for grabs. 58 is going to be in Vegas. 59 is going to be in New Orleans. 60 is up for grabs.
Tampa.
Again, it was just in Tampa.
I think-
It was in 20, right? 2020 in Tampa.
Personally, I think they should put it at the Rose Bowl.
They'll never do it.
They put it in Miami where it always belongs.
That's what I was
Stadium
going to
is
say.
horrible.
Miami or Tampa. That was going to be my next thing. Is Miami.
I'm fine with
Tampa or Miami.
It was just in Miami too, but at the same time, Miami Stadium, like Steve's put a lot of money into the stadium. The stadium is amazing. So
I feel like that stadium is so small, though.
Yeah, not around it though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they see 70.
I think they get 70.
It's
What
70,
about Dallas?
74,000. It was in Dallas.
They've had it already.
Because that's right. That was the snow. Because that was the thing where they didn't have any salt. Once again,
Any more new stadiums going up?
That's what I'm thinking about.
Chicago.
Well, won't be
Chicago.
ready by
Won't be
then.
ready.
Won't be ready by
Won't
then.
be
about
ready.
3 years, 3 or 4 years.
60. How about
Tampa's-
Detroit?
Tampa's just such an older stadium. Raymond James or whatever the hell it's called now. Like
It is. It's Raymond James.
Yeah, it's an old stadium. It's older. They have it there every once in a while. I'm not a big Tampa fan.
I loved going when I went to the Super Bowls. A few of them
Yeah.
that I went to. One was in Miami. Had a blast. One was in Tampa.
I've been to Miami.
Had a blast. Unless the Baltimore whipped the Giants, but the place I love Tampa.
Yeah.
As a city, I could live in Tampa.
What about Houston?
Houston had
one in 2017.
That's an older stadium now too. Energy.
It used to be Reliant.
I'm just going. Okay, so
you can do SoFi again.
California, Tampa, Miami. So they have already had it. Miami would get another Super Bowl before Tampa. Atlanta get one in 26?
I got you. I know
Houston.
I know who's getting there. We talked about it. And we showed the new renovations for it. My dad actually was there when they aligned. Nashville. That'll be. I guarantee you.
You think it'll be ready by then?
Is that stadium going to be up and ready?
Yeah, you're talking about 3 years? Yes. They put stadiums up in a year and a half. 3 years.
How about Buffalo?
No, Nashville is the place.
Buffalo's getting a new stadium.
Should they limit the Super Bowls
to warm places?
Tampa? Here you go. Tampa, Miami, Atlanta, New Orleans, Las Vegas,
Los Angeles,
and Arizona.
Did you say Atlanta?
I said 7 cities.
No, because that's not fair.
I like Nashville. I do.
I'm with
Chicago. Will get one.
Chicago
Nashville
for sure.
Nashville will be the
60.
Blow it out.
Nashville's going to be 60. But and the reason why they should not limit it is, you know how much income those cities make when they have Super Bowls? Like how much income, man, how many, how much money is raised for the city, how much money the city makes off that. So it's good for businesses here or good for businesses everywhere. Also, if you're going to build a new stadium, it don't matter where you build a new stadium at. It's by NFL right. You build a new stadium, we give you a Super Bowl. So any team willing to spend that money, especially now how much stadiums cost, like stadiums now upwards of $3 billion, 3.5, $5 billion.
You forgot Indy too. Indy.
So I would say you get a new stadium, you still get a Super Bowl.
New stadium for sure. I just don't see Detroit getting another Super Bowl. I just don't.
Indy got one.
Indy is one of those big event. I don't want to say
they're a unicorn.
It's such a walkable
So are
city.
we now.
Not now. Once they get that, if that district ever got going, like I would understand it. But that I don't know.
What's wrong with partying in Birmingham and Royal Oak?
They don't want that. They want
it all
Birmingham.
downtown. And the thing about, like, you go to like Indianapolis for these games. I've gone to the Big Ten Championship last 2 years in a row. Like, you go down there, you can walk everywhere downtown. Like, from the furthest downtown hotel to the stadium is a 10-minute walk.
So fall of 26 for Nashville. That's going to be the Nashville Stadium is going to be ready for the fall of 26. So I bet they get it in 27. Because I think they like to have one full season of games.
So that still leaves Super Bowl 60 available somewhere.
Super Bowl 60 available.
Yeah, like Detroit, it's a big city. Like
we had 40.
It's big downtown. You got 2 hotels outside. Yeah, that's tough down there.
Hey, I was at the only outdoor cold one in Jersey, and it turned out to be a 50-degree day. And for the Seattle and the Broncos, 50 degrees. I didn't even have a jacket on. It was awesome. And then guess what happened overnight? Blizzard. Drove home to Detroit with my family in a blizzard.
Speaking of blizzard, man, the Cincinnati San Fran at the Silverdome, that happened before you moved here, correct?
Yes.
I was going to ask you about that day. I looked at a video. I think we both looked at it around Super time. That video looks horrific.
It was ice. It was just everything was snowy and icy. And the Vice President Bush, I think, was in town at that time, and he backed up traffic. Anyone that was at that Silverdome one, you could ride in.
Outside of the game, the experience was horrible.
Super Bowl 60. It's interesting, man. I don't know.
Jacksonville,
they had one.
I was there. That was I was getting drafted. Like whenever you get drafted.
Do you remember who was in that one?
Yeah, I do. I'd have to look back. The Eagles and the Patriots.
Oh, wow. That was in Jacksonville. That was a hell of a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hell of a game.
Donovan McNabb
The surroundings suck. Like Jacksonville's too spread out.
Guys, I want to talk about a couple of things. One, I want to talk about Greg Olsen, and B, I want to talk about this 33rd team mock draft that we flashed.
Yeah.
Can we do that next? But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. I am going to be there at the steak shop today on my way home. Picking up some steaks.
You got me covered.
It's Valentine's Day. Hey. You want to elevate your dinner? Hey. Choose Fairway Packing Company, family owned since 1956. See one of the top chefs in the country. Choose Fairway. You can visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods on Mack Avenue. You can do that today, any day you want. They will also ship anywhere you are. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. The Chop House steaks, the dry-aged Wagyu tomahawk steak, the fillets, whatever the case may be. Fairway Packing Company. Sourced, cut, aged, packed to perfection. Go there now.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many people choose a one-to-one effective date. Swiss can make sure you have everything you need. Why not give them a chance? Reach out to my man Mark right now at Swiss Insurance Group.
Hey guys, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. Thanks to everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat. Hey, just pop up that 33rd team mock draft once again. We talked about it a little bit and found it pretty interesting that this organization has Bryce Young going number 1 to the Chicago Bears. C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 3 picks. I think that is just fascinating, and I feel a little cheated too, because if the Lions would have won the coin toss with the Seattle Seahawks, they would have had an opportunity to get one of their guys.
It was the Rams and Seahawks.
Rams and Seahawks, but yeah, that's what I meant, because the Lions have the Rams pick there.
Pick. Yeah. I just wanted people to know.
Yeah. Good. God, both of those guys are just so freaking good, man. Both of those guys could improve this team so much, and both of those guys, I think, would be worthy of even trading up for, to be honest with you. But outside of those two guys, you know, this Christian Gonzalez, I'm
not interested.
I'm not either.
I don't want a defensive back in my first pick. I am not
interested. What about Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle from Georgia?
I don't want that either.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just throwing guys out there. I am not interested in a cornerback at number 6.
And ain't no Lawrence Taylor linebacker sitting there either.
And honestly, I think for me, when it comes to the Lions, make what you do great even greater. And I'm not sure if any of these mock drafts make sense until what we see, the direction they go on March 15th when the league year opens and they can start signing free agents.
As it relates to players in this draft, like, I'm going to reserve judgment until I watch these guys play. I've seen some of these guys on film. Some guys look outstanding. Tyree Wilson looks good on film. Brees from Clemson looks really good on film as well. Wait till they go through the combine. Wait till they do their pro days. Wait till they work out. Wait till you see it all come together, and then you watch the film. Wait to see what these guys are interested in. I'm kind of going to wait for that process. Outside of that, I know what I want to happen. I know what my mock draft would be for the Detroit Lions. At that sixth pick, I'm looking for the Detroit Lions to trade backwards. Okay, get some draft capital in there somehow, get trade backwards. At 9 or 10 or whatever that pick is you have, want them to draft the defensive lineman. It is what it is. That's the pick that I'm standing on. I want a defensive lineman. Now at 18 or however you wrap yourself around making that move back and whatever you add, now it gets interesting because I'm all for going to get Jalen Ramsey at DB. And thinking of where he's at now, Jalen Ramsey, after Maz kept asking me, Jalen Ramsey may not command a first-round pick. You may not have to spend 18 to get Jalen Ramsey. You may have to give away a second and a third. Maz, would you be okay giving away your second and third for Jalen Ramsey?
No.
You wouldn't?
No.
So you get a lockdown corner who's
I'll give one of those picks, but not both.
A second and a third. But you also moved back in the draft, which gave you more draft capital. You get Jalen Ramsey. Like, I'm getting Levante David from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm bringing him in, or Devin Bush. Like, so I don't even have to draft that guy. Like, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I want to do. I think the Lions should move back from that pick. And whoever Brad Holmes wants to draft, I put it in his hands. Yeah. But I think they need to move back, gain more draft capital, and I think they need to seriously think about doing some second round with that pick, third round even, to get Jalen Ramsey.
They better get a quarterback with the second pick, with the second number one pick. Somehow, some way.
A corner?
They better a quarter.
Quarter, got you.
I don't give a damn if
18?
they have to move up,
yeah,
trade it, and something else, but you better get a quarterback this draft, this first round. I don't give a damn if you don't pick him with the first pick, but you better get him with the second pick. And it's a first rounder. You lock him up for 5 years. You let him sit behind Goff, and you let him become your Super Bowl quarterback.
Well, if that's the case, then you either select Anthony Richardson at 6, or you make somebody pay up to get Anthony Richardson. Because if this is the case where quarterbacks go 1, 2, and 3, that only leaves Anthony Richardson left.
Why is Chicago drafting Jalen Hurts? I mean, excuse me.
Start the clock over. Start the
So
quarterback.
what are they doing with
over.
Justin Fields?
They're going to trade him
to the Colts.
To anybody that's willing to take him.
Could be the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. I mean,
I don't know if I would.
Hell, well, no, Houston would take. I haven't given that much thought, but
so draft him and then hold him hostage and then get something in return for
well,
him.
just kind of like what Arizona did with Josh Rosen. I mean, Fields is going into his third year, so instead of paying him in a year and a half, when your team is not ready, you won 4 games last year, 3 games last year, you've got a lot of holes. So if you believe that, I think this is sound reason, by the way.
Right.
If you believe that Bryce Young is as good or better than Justin Fields, why not start that quarterback clock now instead of and give yourself 4 years to get better?
I understand
as
that.
opposed to 1 year to get better.
Understand that, but be careful. And this is why I tell you be careful. Justin Fields had a hell of a year running the ball last year. Justin Fields, you know why we found out that Justin Fields could run last year? Because he was running for his freaking life. Because he had the worst offensive line
and no
in the
receivers.
NFL and no receivers. So you mean to tell me that you got a guy in Justin Fields who we saw that's amazing, like a magician, running the football.
And playing hurt.
He's that good running, and he was running for his life. Bryce Young ain't Justin Fields running that ball. You put him, who's much shorter, much smaller, you put him behind that offensive line, guess what? Bryce Young's going to be in somebody's IR downtown Chicago very soon. So do you want to get rid of a bigger quarterback behind that terrible offensive line with no wide receivers who's making it happen for you, who you can build around, and draft a quarterback who can't move as good as that guy, who's going to get injured, who's a lot smaller because your offensive line ain't blocking? I don't know if that's a smart move.
Yeah, this mock.
It could be a farce. This mock.
Well, it could be.
Yeah.
But I do think it's worth the conversation.
I'm praying.
I absolutely think the Chicago Bears are having this conversation in their building.
They're smart. If they're smart, they're telling everyone we're taking a quarterback unless you give us A, B, C, and D. Not like the Lions in the Quinn Trisha era when they brought in a backup quarterback on the year tour, and Justin Herbert were in the first round, and you're picking, I forgot what number they were picking, 5th? 3rd?
Yeah.
Third, when they took
Okuda.
When they took Okuda.
If I'm those teams from 2 to 5, or the team set like Carolina, who's 9th, and
Carolina's 9. That's where the trade would go to, by the way.
So that's why I'm looking at it from them teams. I'm calling Chicago's bluff. Oh, we just watched how good of a year Justin Fields had from running the ball. Now we know you guys need a couple offensive linemen to protect him and some wide receivers. You're going to draft Bryce Young and start the clock. Cool. I call your bluff. If I'm an owner, if I'm a front office in those positions, I'm calling their bluff on this. That would just be me. I'm not buying the fact that they're going to have Justin Fields and take Bryce Young. I just wouldn't buy it.
We showed a mock a few weeks ago that C.J. Stroud dropped, and he was available at 6. That's my prayer.
Welcome to February.
That's my prayer.
Well, yeah, I agree. I'd like to see that because either you take him or you trade.
Correct.
Right? You take him or you trade. I'd love to see one of these.
You don't trade him. You take him.
Yeah, you take him. I'd take him too, by the way. If you believe in him. You may have Anthony Richardson higher than C.J. Stroud.
Yeah, you might. I've watched in person C.J. I have not watched in person Anthony Richardson.
I'm just saying it. If C.J.'s not your guy and Anthony Richardson is,
that's your guy.
That's your guy. Guys, we got to get to a break. I've got so much left to talk about, too. We're going to have to save some of this stuff for tomorrow. Let me get you a message from Planet Fitness first and our guy, JB.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Find your big fitness energy at Planet Fitness today because now through February 16th, you can join for $1 down and just $10 a month. But you have to hurry up because this offer does end soon. But just to note, Planet Fitness is hiring. Make your workout place your workplace. Planet Fitness offers a fun and friendly environment with flexible schedules and so much more for their employees. To join Planet Fitness or to become a Planet Fitness crew member, you can either walk in club or you can always check them out online at planetfitness.com.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hey, it's Maz for Cousins Maine Lobster. Click on that QR code right now because Cousins Maine Lobster is up. Their food truck is up for Food Truck of the Year. Make sure you go vote for them at thefreep.com. That's freep.com. Best of Detroit. Follow them on facebook.com. Hashtag CML Detroit. Again, facebook.com/CML Detroit for your chance to win a $300 Visa gift card if they pull it off and win Food Truck of the Year. Make sure you try Cousins Maine Lobster today. Scan the QR code right above my head. Find out where they'll be next. CousinsMainLobster.com.
We love our friends at Cousins Maine Lobster. Hey, why don't we get
Food Truck of the Year?
Absolutely. Why don't we get to this as well? The Raiders have officially informed quarterback Derek Carr that he has been released. The team was on the hook for $40 million of his contract. It became guaranteed today.
They can't afford that.
No, not to have him sit at home on the couch. So Derek Carr, an unrestricted free agent, expected to draw interest from the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah, this is idiotic by the Las Vegas Raiders. The reason why I say it's idiotic by Las Vegas Raiders, they let Josh McDaniel come in there, kind of like put people against people. He said, "Hey, this is Derek Carr. We need to remove ourselves from him," kind of shining a light off of, his poor coaching this year. I get it. You want to move on. It's not your guy. Derek's been there 9 years, hasn't had the type of success you want. I get it. But by getting rid of him during the season, they basically stopped playing him. 5 weeks left in the year. Other teams knew that he wasn't going to be there. They didn't have to field any trades because guess what? Derek has veto power, so he can say, "Hey, I don't want to go there." So he has all the power. They basically fired him before the season was over. Didn't think this through. Now he's gone. Now he refuses to play for another team. Now he refuses to allow them to trade him to another team. So now they can't get anything in return for Derek Carr. All they do is release him. They get nothing for him. You look at the deals of the Rams and the Rams and the Lions. You look at the Broncos and the Seahawks. Like, this is something that was on par for the Vegas Raiders and whatever team that they would have done a deal with. But by showing your hand in November, by disrespecting this guy back in November, everybody knew, well, they have to fire this guy. We can't get anything for him. Like, we don't have to give them 2 first rounders. We don't have to do anything. We'll just wait till they release him, and then we'll offer him a deal. The Las Vegas Raiders allowed Josh McDaniels to blunder 9 years worth of work.
And that, my friends, is the Patriot way. That's why these guys do not succeed elsewhere. These guys have no business being head coaches or anything else. It's why Patricia sucked, why Josh McDaniels sucked. It's why everybody that's ever left New England has sucked. Bill O'Brien also sucked. You know, they're coordinators at best. They think they can be Bill Belichick. They can't be Bill Belichick.
Joe Judge.
Yeah, and I tweeted this out. Emoji. I tweeted this out weeks ago when the report was that the GM and the head coach, both New England guys, I forget the GM's name for the Raiders, but he's a New England guy. They want their own guys. So guys like Darren Waller and the little white receiver from Hunter Renfrow.
They put them on the block.
Way up. They put them on the block because they want their own guys.
Both Pro Bowlers.
Man, I've seen it happen in Detroit
Ziegler.
with Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia. If you're a Raiders fan, you should be very scared.
We should get Hondo Carpenter on.
Yes, well, I'd love to. You should be very scared.
Dave Ziegler is the guy you're talking about. And 100%. I mean, you look at exactly what you said. Like, there's no reason you have a quarterback of Derek Carr's caliber. Now, would you put him in Tier 1? No, because there's only 3 quarterbacks in Tier 1. But he's definitely a Tier 2 quarterback. He's definitely somebody that commands maybe a first and a third, maybe some other pick. Definitely something that you could have used to help the franchise. But now he gets to be like, and this is why I'm happy that how they did him, everything he's done for the Raiders. I'm happy that this has happened because now whatever franchise he goes to, they don't have to give up a king's ransom to get him, which means they keep picks intact and they get him as a quarterback. So he'll have a fresh shot.
Without question. Guys, just wanted to say that we loved it. We love everybody. And our thoughts and our prayers and our hugs and our just our love goes out to everybody in the Michigan State community.
Not just words.
Today. No. And it's just been a really difficult 16 hours. 16, 18 hours. And 3 Michigan State students were killed. 5 others have been shot fighting for their lives at Sparrow Hospital in East Lansing. And we're just very sad today. We talked about it again at the start of the show, just our emotions about it. Maz, you had one hell of a night. Your daughter Lily was there right across the street. She joined us earlier today. Just
amazing, by the way.
Unspeakable grief and sadness. And we just hope it stops.
Yep.
And we just wanted to provide a little bit of a distraction with some sports today. So we hope we had a good balance. That's for you guys to decide. We did the best we could today. And just wanted to say that. So thanks for tuning in, Braylon, if you want to get us out of here.
Call and text somebody's plural that you love them. Like Ryan said, it doesn't have to be strangers. Start with people you know. Call, tell us about, hey, just thinking about you. Hey, I love you. Hey, I miss you. Hey, I'm here. It's very simple in life, man. Happy Valentine's Day. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.